She called it the next step. Just paperwork, a lease upgrade, a few signatures for our future. She said it like she was asking me to grab milk on the way home. I almost did it. Because when you love someone, you start believing trust is something you prove with ink. If you enjoy real relationship stories with a clear ending, consider subscribing. Now let me tell you how a folder of papers showed me I was not her partner. I was her safety net. Her name was Paige. We had been together almost 3 years, living together for 11 months. We had a simple place, a 2-bedroom apartment with a small balcony. Mismatched furniture we promised we would upgrade slowly. Paige worked in real estate marketing, open houses, weekend events, client dinners that sounded half like work and half like a social life I was not invited into. I worked in supply chain, steady hours, steady pay, steady habits. Paige used to joke that I was built for stability. I used to think that was a compliment. When we moved in, I handled the boring parts, lease emails, utility accounts, due dates. Paige handled the vibe, plants, throw pillows, photo frames she never actually hung. At first, it felt like balance. Then it started to feel like I was the only one building something that could last. A year in, Paige got restless. Not angry. Restless. She started talking about upgrades like they were urgent. A nicer neighborhood, a better car, furniture that looked like it belonged in a catalog. She would send me links at midnight, then act annoyed when I asked what it cost. She said I always killed the excitement with numbers. I told her numbers were how we kept excitement from becoming debt. She laughed and said I worried too much. Then she started pushing for joint financial moves. A rewards card in both our names. A loan for a car, maybe. I said no, calmly. I told her we could save and do it the right way. She dropped it. Then a month later, a credit card arrived in her name. The limit made my eyebrows lift. She said she qualified because she had a good month. Commission bonuses. I wanted to believe her. So I did. The weird part was not the card. It was how she started treating our life like a temporary stop. She stopped buying groceries, said there was no point stocking up if we were moving soon. She stopped hanging anything on the walls. Said she did not want to commit to the space. She spent more nights away, last-minute work dinners, weekend events. I did not accuse. I did not chase. I told myself she was building a career. Then our landlord emailed about renewal options. Renew. Go month to month. Or upgrade to a bigger unit in the complex. Paige saw the email and lit up. We should upgrade, she said. A real office, a better kitchen, something that feels grown up. We toured the unit. Paige loved it immediately. She walked through like she already owned it. I looked at the price. It was doable, but tighter than I liked. I told her we could do it if we committed to a budget. She agreed fast. Too fast. Like she was saying yes to get to the next step. After that, she treated the move like a certainty. Telling friends, packing things we did not need to pack, shopping for furniture we did not need yet. Then, on a Tuesday night, she came home with takeout, and that overly sweet energy people wear when they want something. She kissed me hard, asked about my day like she was reading from a script. Then she pulled a folder from her bag. The leasing office printed everything, she said. We just need to sign and drop it off tomorrow morning. I opened it. Both our names were there. But the income section looked wrong. Her salary was listed way higher than it should have been. Not a little higher. A lot. I pointed at it and said it must be a mistake. Paige smiled without concern. She said she gave them an estimate. Commission and bonuses, remember? I asked if they needed pay stubs. She said no. They trusted it. That sounded false. Every place asks for proof. I kept reading. Then I saw a section labeled Primary Financial Responsibility. A checkbox, already checked, next to my name. I asked why. Paige shrugged. She said it was standard. My credit was better. It did not mean anything. Just a label. Labels matter. I asked if her name could be primary instead. She rolled her eyes, said my brain was doing the thing again, making a simple process into a lecture. I told her I was not lecturing. I was protecting us. She sighed, said she did not want to argue, said this was for our future, said I needed to be on her side. The way she said it felt like pressure dressed as romance. I told her I would read everything before signing. Her smile slipped. Not dramatic, just enough. She said it had to go in tomorrow. The unit would not be held. Urgency. Always urgency. Paige went to shower. I stayed at the table and kept reading. An addendum explained that if one tenant left early, the remaining tenant covered the rent. Normal. Then the next paragraph. Primary tenant would be responsible for collections, fees, damages, legal costs, even if caused by the other tenant. Primary. My name. Checked. My stomach went cold. I could confront her, but I knew what would happen. She would turn it into my trust issues. So I did something I had never done in this relationship. I opened her laptop. Not because I wanted dirt, because I wanted reality. Her email was open. A spreadsheet tab caught my eye. New place plan. I clicked it. It looked normal at first. Boxes, furniture, budget lines. Then I saw another tab at the bottom. Exit. I clicked it. A checklist stared back at me like a punch. Storage unit, forward mail, canceled joint subscriptions, close shared bills account, remove him from emergency contact. It wasn't about us. It was about him. And me. I scrolled. There were notes about solo occupancy, early lease removal, and a line that said, roommate backup. Roommate. Backup. Paige was planning a move that did not include me. Then I noticed the chat window open on the side. A conversation with someone saved as Marissa Work. I had heard that name before. A co-worker Paige always described as brutally honest. The newest messages were from Paige. She messaged that she needed me to sign because the leasing office wouldn't approve her on her own. My credit would carry it. Once we were in, she'd figure out the rest. And she knew I wouldn't make a big scene because I hated conflict. Marissa replied with advice that made my skin crawl. Make him primary. That way he is on the hook if anything goes wrong. He will sign if you make it about the future. My hands started shaking. Not from rage, from the feeling of being handled, like a problem being solved. I read more. Older messages mentioned a guy named Evan. Paige said he was fun. Paige said he did not stress her out. Paige said she could not invite him over until she was out. Out. Like I was a place, not a person. I closed the laptop. The shower stopped. Normal sounds, a drawer, a hairdryer, like nothing was happening. When Paige came out, she sat across from me and pushed the folder closer. Did you sign? She asked. I looked at her and felt something settle in me. The panic was gone. Clarity took its place. I told her I needed more time. She frowned. She said the unit would be gone. I said I was not comfortable being primary on everything. She waved it off, said we could adjust it after we moved in. That was the exact line from her messages. Once we were in, she could figure out the rest. That night, after I told her no, she tried another version of the same move. She made tea. She sat close. She talked about vacations we could take once we moved. She ran her fingers along my arm like affection could soften my boundaries. She said she wanted to feel proud when friends came over. She said she wanted a space that matched who we were becoming. Then she slid the folder toward me again. She pointed to the signature lines like they were the finish line. I could almost see the path she expected. I sign. She gets the unit. We move. And later, when she's ready to leave, I am the one tied to rent and consequences. I told her I was going to sleep on it. She stared at me like I was refusing oxygen. She said the leasing office needed it in the morning. I said, then we wait. She asked what I was so afraid of. I told her I was afraid of signing something I could not undo. She laughed like that was irrational. Then she said she felt like I did not trust her. I said trust does not mean blind. Trust means both people protect each other. Her face tightened. She said I was acting like her dad. She hated being policed. That word policed was interesting, because I had not told her what she could do. I had just told her what I would not sign. Paige went to bed without another word. I stayed up and watched her phone light up with notifications. She did not hide it. She did not need to. She was confident that I would eventually cave. I stood up. I told her I was not signing anything tonight. Her voice sharpened. She asked why I was making it complicated. She said I was scared of progress. I told her I was scared of traps. Then I grabbed my keys and left the apartment. Before I said something that would give her a story to tell, I sat in a parking lot and did the most unromantic thing possible. I protected myself. I rerouted my direct deposit out of the shared bills account into a new account in my name. I downloaded our shared account statements, saved them. I transferred my portion of the balance out, left her portion in. Clean, fair, documented. Then I left a voicemail with the leasing office, asking them to confirm whether any application had been started using my information. I did not accuse. I just asked. When I got home, Paige was on the couch scrolling her phone, acting like I was the one being unreasonable. I told her I went through the paperwork. I told her I was not signing. She said I was overthinking. I told her I saw her plan. She froze. Then she did what people do when they get caught. She attacked the method. How could you look at my laptop? Do you have no respect for privacy? I told her I did not go looking for a fight. I went looking for clarity, and I found it. I told her I saw the exit tab, the checklist, the messages about using my credit. Her face tightened. Not with guilt, with anger that her leverage was slipping. She said she was just venting. She said Marissa was joking. She said I was twisting everything. Then she said the truest sentence of the whole relationship. She said she needed to do what was best for her. I nodded. I told her I agreed, and I told her we were done. Silence. Then tears. Then bargaining. She told me she loved me, that she was stressed, that she felt stuck, that she wanted a better life and believed I would slow her down. Then she flipped. Suddenly I was boring, rigid, and according to her, no one would put up with my trust issues. I let her talk until she ran out of air. Then I said it once, calmly. You planned your exit. You tried to make me responsible for the risk. You do not get to call that love. The next morning, the leasing office called back. The next day, I went in person. I did not bring Paige. I did not want a performance. I wanted facts. The manager pulled up the file and explained how their system worked. One primary tenant, one credit anchor, one person they chased first if anything went wrong. She said it in a neutral tone, like weather. I asked if a tenant could remove themselves later. She shook her head. Not unless the other tenant qualified alone, she said. If not, the lease stayed joint, even if the relationship ended, even if one person moved out, if the other person stopped paying. I asked whether my information had already been used. She said Paige entered it for the pre-application. Name, employer, income, even my date of birth. The manager did not accuse Paige. She just stated it. I asked them to note in the system that no application could proceed with my information unless I was physically present. With my ID. She typed the note and showed me the screen before saving it. That little line felt like armor. Then I asked them to close the file. Right there. No credit pull, no pending approval, no silent damage. They closed it. And for the first time in weeks, I felt my lungs fill all the way. They confirmed a pre-application had been started under Paige's name. My information was entered, but no credit pull had been completed because my signature was required. I asked them to close it immediately. They did. No credit pull, no lease, no hook in my name. That single decision felt like a door locking. Paige came home that night and acted like the breakup was a negotiation. Could we take a break? Could we still move? Could I be less intense? I said no, not because I hated her, because I finally respected myself. She asked if I wanted to see her messages to prove she was not serious. I told her I did not need proof. I needed a partner who did not treat me like a resource. She moved out that weekend. A friend came with a rented van. Paige packed fast. No sentimental pause. No long goodbye. She took her clothes, her makeup, the balcony plant, and the air fryer she insisted was hers because she bought it on sale. Before she left, she stood in the doorway and said she never thought I would actually leave. I told her I never thought I would have to. After she was gone, the apartment felt bigger, not emptier, cleaner, like my body could finally unclench. A week later, Paige texted from a new number. She said she missed me. She said she was sorry. Then she asked if I could help her with a deposit. Her new lease needed extra upfront. I stared at the message and felt something almost like relief, because it proved I made the right decision. Even after everything, she still reached for my stability first. I deleted the message. No response. A month later, a mutual friend mentioned Paige was dating a guy named Evan. Downtown, new place, new photos, new captions about growth and choosing herself. I did not argue with the narrative. I did not correct anyone. I just kept building my life without her. Here is what I learned. If someone loves you, they do not rush you into obligations. If someone respects you, they do not make you primary on every risk. And if you ever find an exit plan with your name written into the liabilities, you are not in a relationship. You are in a setup. I did not lose Paige. I lost the illusion that loyalty should be rewarded with responsibility. And I gained something better, the ability to choose peace, without signing my name away to someone who was already practicing leaving. For a few days after she left, I kept expecting to feel regret. That heavy second-guessing, that urge to call and smooth it over. Instead, I felt something I had not felt in a long time. Relief. Because the truth is that I'd been living with pressure for months. Not because she was ambitious, because her ambition came with hidden math. Always one step ahead. Always a plan she did not share. Always a story designed to keep me useful. I started noticing the little things I used to excuse. How she only talked about our future when she needed something. How she called me controlling when I asked for clarity. How she used romance as a tool, not a gift. That was the real breakup. Not the day she moved out. The day I stopped confusing being needed with being loved.